Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Weekly Coaching Call. Every Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to connect as a community of like-minded mortgage professionals and have the absolute best sales meeting in the mortgage industry. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach, and it's always an honor to do these calls. It's fun to bring in industry leaders and people that are thriving in today's market and bring out the genius and bring out what's valuable to everybody in the Mortgage Coach community. I want to urge anybody that's new to this call to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook. Make sure that you like the Mortgage Coach Facebook page so you can track what's going on in our conversation and participate. During today's call, I do want to recommend people share your promises. If you hear something that you think is a great idea and you're like, I'm going to do this, put that in Twitter. If you get a big takeaway, a great quote, something that you want to remember, and you want to make sure other folks on this call remember it, hashtag Mortgage Coach and send it to me, dsavage@mc. So I've got a couple great leaders and also good personal friends. Jim McQuaig has been a personal friend now for over a decade and a really close friend over the past 2 years. But Jim is a leader. He's a branch leader. He's been one of the top loan officers at different times in his career in America. He also is a radio host for Real Estate Radio Network, which is part of his value proposition and strategy. And he's a leader with Churchill Mortgage, who we are featuring in today's call with Kevin Watson. So, Jim, welcome to the call.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Good. Well, again, in the spirit of being my co-host on today's radio show, that's how we'll roll, feel free to jump in, provide some color, ask some questions, and just make sure we bring out the best in Kevin. Does that sound good?
I'll do it. I won't be quite as colorful as I am on my show, though.
I don't know. I'm not afraid, Jim. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
All right. And then Jim, at about 9:45, he's going to share some teachings on how he's being a leader to his loan officers. So we're going to share some tactics, some strategies, some ideas. But now how do we get loan officers to take action? How do you get, as a branch manager, a team or a mortgage executive, your organization? Jim's going to share some ideas, wisdom, and some of his perspective on how to do that. So the theme of the call, it's delivering the American dream. And we talk about at Churchill the real American dream, which is not only owning your home, but owning it free and clear. So we're going to talk about that. Before I get into that content, I want to just do some housekeeping. I want to make sure that everybody on this call, your Mortgage Coach members, and not only using Edge is a great sales tool, it's a great compliance tool. And so this is a video that every mortgage professional on this call needs to watch. It's an interview between myself and Ken Perry around the compliance part of Edge, but I also urge you to forward this to your leadership team. Make sure that your branch leader has watched this. Make sure the CEO of your company, the head of production, please share it to your executive team so they understand both the sales value and the compliance value of making sure every home buyer gets a Mortgage Coach Edge report. Also want to do a shout out. Todd Brilliant, our head of marketing, asked me to really drive folks into this. He posted this post yesterday, and the vision around it was, hey, show us your Facebook page, Mortgage Coach members. We want to see how you're using Facebook. We want to see how you're using pages to market yourself. So there's this sharing element of showing and telling what you're doing, but there's also this watch and learn. So if you want to see what Mortgage Coach members are doing, go and check out this post. Some of you are going to just be watching. But we really ask you to show and tell. Be a leader, participate in this post, and it'll be valuable for everybody to see how Mortgage Coach leaders are leveraging Facebook pages in today's market. Want to remind everybody that we're about halfway through our 10 days of training, so this goes through this Friday. There should be a link on our Facebook page, and if anybody doesn't know how to attend this, every single day we're doing a less than 20-minute teaching around a specific Mortgage Coach strategy. So our Success Coach team got together and said, what are the things that you need to know to excel in 2014? And we've got a teaching every day for 10 days. So 5 days left. Don't miss it. Before I get into the meat of this call today and the interview, I did want to do what I thought was an important reminder from yesterday's coaching call, or not yesterday's, but last week's with Mike White. I just loved this message: keep calm and win the day. And 30 points a week is how you do it. So just as a reminder, he built this around the game of baseball. 1 point for every borrower or partner conversation. 3 points for every move, every time you take an app, every time you move it to approval. Funding, 3 points for every time you move a borrower around the baseball, or around the diamond. And 10 points for every realtor meeting. If you get 30 points a day, you win the day. You do that 5 days a week, you win the week. So I thought it was just a great strategy for driving success. Mike, in all of his years of coaching, said he's never had a mortgage professional who executed on this, who did this, didn't close over 5 loans a month, and taking it from 5 to 10, 10 to 15 is just more points, you know. So if you missed last week's call, listen to it and follow through on this great strategy to win the day, win the week, and obviously have a very sustainable, successful mortgage career. So let's get into the big idea today. It's about the real American dream. I think this is a philosophy that a lot of originators have. I don't know that it's something that everybody executes around. When I listen to borrower conversations, is everybody really executing around this vision? So we're going to talk about what you need to do to execute around this. So I want to ask a quick survey question just to set the stage as we go into the call. Do you deliver advice that inspires borrowers to pay off their mortgage faster? I want to know what percentage of the people on today's call are doing that. And as you all know, I need 70% of you to vote before we move on. Jim McQuaig, any guesses how this is going to roll out? What percentage of the folks on today's call are delivering advice that inspires borrowers to pay off their mortgage faster?
You know, I think it'd probably be a little more than it had been in years past, with the 15-year being such a, you know, an option for people these days. But I'm going to say probably 50-50. We'll see.
All right. So guys, we're at 61% of you have voted. Give me a quick push. All you holdouts, just click the button. Let's get above 70%, and let's move on with our content today. So here are the results. 72% said yes, they are delivering on this. 38% said no. So I guess my message would be for you, 38% who said no, you're missing an opportunity. You're missing an opportunity to show leadership. You're missing an opportunity to be unique in the conversation and deliver more than a rate quote, but deliver a mortgage strategy that delivers on that real American dream. So we're gonna share how you can do a better job at that. Jim, any questions or comments before we roll in? Any commentary around that?
No, not at all. I mean, I've got a couple things I'm going to talk about later relative to that, but it's something that's, you know, the ability to pay your mortgage off faster is, I think, a top of mind thing for most homeowners these days.
No doubt. Well, I look forward to getting into that. A great quote that I pulled off of Facebook last week, and I just think this is awesome, and I know I'm going to be thinking about this for weeks to come, and just as I look at how we teach and train with Mortgage Coach, I just think you need to ask yourself, you know, and you need to think about this. Mediocre teachers tell, good teachers explain, superior teachers demonstrate, and great, the best teachers inspire. So when you think about those of you that said, yes, I'm doing this, I want you to ask yourself, are you just telling and explaining, or are you demonstrating and inspiring? So delivering a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis to a client is a great way to demonstrate it. To inspire, you really got to create a story around it. That means you needed to ask some great questions of the client. How old do you want to be when your home's paid off? And based off of your current mortgage or the mortgage we're talking about right now, how old are you going to be? And now you have the chance to not only demonstrate some ways of paying it off faster, you have the insight and the personal connection to inspire them. So I want everybody to think about this quote, and I want everybody to really ask yourselves, where are you at? Are you telling and explaining, or are you demonstrating and inspiring? And I hope everybody's going to raise the bar on your own execution. So this is the first takeaway to kick off this call, in the first concept as we get into. The other thing I wanted everybody to think about is I pulled this from Steve Harney's presentation a few weeks back. By the way, Jim and Kevin, it's been amazing. I mean, we've had this call scheduled for a couple months now, but out of the last 3 coaching calls, without any influence from me, the speakers have actually referenced Dave Ramsey and talked about how they've been influenced by his teachings. So Dave Ramsey's impact on our industry is it's profound.
Yeah, I was wondering about that when I saw that slide. I was wondering if you slid that in there. It's interesting to know that you put it in.
That was an actual Snagit screenshot right from Steve Harney's presentation, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And there was another one the week before that from Dan Keller, a loan officer out of Seattle. So a lot of influence, but I want everybody to ask yourself, when you think about inspiring and demonstrating, first of all, it's got to come from your heart. You've got to have that connection that I'm not just a salesperson, I'm a teacher. So as we get into the end of the year, I want everybody to ask themselves, where are you? Are you selling rates and payments? Are you teaching people how to use the mortgage to achieve their dreams? And I really hope towards the end of this call and as we go into the end of the year, more folks are gonna really connect and make a decision. I'm a teacher, and I'm going to execute my business accordingly. And if I do that, I'll be a much more successful salesperson. So I also wanted to remind everybody this has been the #1 mortgage coach post of the year. We've had over 5,000 people download this, and I bring it up in the context right now because it's a great teaching. It really aligns around Dave Ramsey's philosophies of paying off your mortgage faster, and it's a great tool for everybody on this call to have. It's on our Facebook page. Go grab it, and it's a great thing to leverage and use as you have this conversation. So I'm going to bring Kevin into the conversation. I'm going to remind everybody to share your promises and your takeaways. With that said, let's get into the main topic and our big guest today, Mr. Kevin Watson. I have known Kevin now for a couple of years. We've had a really strong working relationship as Churchill Mortgage is a partner client of ours. They're not just an enterprise client, but they're a partner. They've really integrated Mortgage Coach and the philosophies we have into the infrastructure of the business and into the values of the business. I attend their holiday party and part of the management retreats, and I was actually out at their office last week and taking some pictures as I was walking around. And this is a company that's a value-based company and a company that executes on their values. So this is a picture that was in the lobby, and I hope that when we have this conversation with Kevin, it becomes clear not only do they have these values and these foundations, but they're living them and they're executing them. You know, one of the things that struck me as I was preparing for the call, and I was just thinking about all the Churchill leaders and friends that I have, is that they're very much leaders, not the boss. And when we're in these markets like we're in right now, I urge everybody on this call, ask yourself, where are you at right now, a boss or a leader of your team, and are you doing the right things to take the values and the strategies that you're executing and to help your team get it done? Or are you the boss pointing fingers, telling your team what to do? So I know for sure all the leaders, this is the COO of Churchill, this is his office, Matt Clark. Right before my meeting with him, I was just struck with, one of their key values is just, keep chopping. And he's created something in his office to remind everybody of those values. So Kevin, rather than me share all the different values, if you could jump into the conversation, share everybody on the call a little bit about your mortgage practice, your role at Churchill, and let's learn how to deliver the American dream in today's marketplace, my friend.
Okay, be glad to, Dave. Am I sharing? Are we on?
Yeah, you can grab the screen anytime you're ready and walk us through some of the conversation topics you have.
Okay. Let me know when you can see the screen here.
I can see it.
Okay, great. Well, just a little bit about me. Dave has already told a little bit about me, but I actually have been in this area for about 20 years, originating, and I was the #1 producer back in 2009 in the Region 14 for Bank of America, and then came over in 2010 to manage with Churchill Mortgage, where I am currently, and have about 35 loan officers, plus I do my personal production. And my why is right there, picture of my family, and you can see from my wife's picture that I outkicked my coverage there. So the next, what are you laughing about, Jim? No. And so, you know, I wanted to talk about passion, because passion is business. You either do it with passion or don't do it at all, and I think that that's probably the theme of my mortgage career. I've never been the most intelligent or the best speaker or the best at any detail, for sure, but I've always done it with passion, and I've always believed that that gets you through. And you know, at Churchill, we really have a passion for that real American dream that Dave was talking about, and our passion is helping people reach the real American dream that Dave was discussing and Jim was discussing, with helping people pay off their mortgage earlier. And we really want to help them find a responsible environment that they can actually pay down a mortgage and see how much it'll benefit them. And so that Mortgage Coach TCA is just such a great example. It's the best thing we've ever found to illustrate what we really believe, and we really enjoy doing that. You can see some of the accolades that we've received in the past, and we currently do, as Dave discussed, work with Dave Ramsey. We're the only endorsed provider for mortgages that Dave has ever endorsed for 22 years. And we're very proud of that, and we work very hard at continuing to do that every day. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was we also like to have fun. This is a picture of our manager's retreat. We were over in the Outer Banks, and we created a boat out of cardboard and duct tape, and we actually won. We had to get across a pool, and we actually won that. So, you know, life balance is really important in our company, to be passionate and work hard while we're working, and then have fun. So Dave had referred to this, and I just took a picture of this that is in our conference room. This is where we have most of our sales meetings and most meetings in this room. And we've got these core foundations all throughout the office. Mike Hardwick, our owner and CFO, or excuse me, CEO, has actually had it painted all over the fourth floor and third floor and all the other floors that we're on in this building. And all of our core foundations are not only things that are just on the wall, but we live it and make decisions by it every single day, and we're very passionate about that. The Heart of a Teacher is a great example of how we show that through the TCA that we do, and we require every one of our loan officers to get a TCA out for every client that they talk to. Even if they can't help them at that time, it still could help someone else, or they could forward it to a friend who it could help. So we really like to show that, and we always include a 15-year mortgage in there and show them how they can save hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest over the life of their loan. Of course, this is when you get off on the fourth floor to our office, to where most of the loan officers are here in my branch, you'll see this. You'll see the Dave Ramsey paraphernalia and financial peace, and we really live it all throughout the building, and we own it. We live and breathe it every single day, working with Dave. One way that we do that is we ask our clients in the beginning of the process. There's an automated email that goes out from me to ask, are we delivering a five-star experience? And this is an actual live one that we sent out, and funny enough, the response is right here, and this is from a gentleman who said that he's been excellent so far. We particularly were impressed by the data visualization video we were able to see, breaking down everything in a clear way. So far, very good. So that's another example of how we use the Mortgage Coach TCA and Edge to be able to be very clear with our clients. I can't express how much it has put us to the next level above our competition and helped us to be able to show that we are professionals. And one thing that Dave was talking about, Dave, that you were talking about, you know, showing the American dream. And there is a book that you referred to, and I can't remember the book at this time, but it was talking about the challenger salesperson. And do you remember that book?
Yeah, it's called the Challenger Sale, and it's about you know, being a teacher, tailoring your advice, and delivering value, not just, you know, trying to build relationship over time.
I was thinking about that, and I thought back on my career, and I believe that most of the time when I've made my most effect is not when I just go along with what the customer wants to do, is when I really look at the whole situation. We've got a 1003 right there. We've got their whole life, their financial life, right there that we can look at. And I make a comment or a suggestion that may be a little bit against the grain, but is challenging them to really think about the future. And that's where I've seen a lot of success, is making a real difference in someone's life. And that's why I come to work every day. That gives me passion to be able to do that.
Well, I think, you know, I'd like to tie that into the survey question at the beginning, you know, for all the mortgage professionals that say, hey, I'm not inspiring my clients to pay off their mortgage faster. You know, let's face it, when most home buyers call us, you know, they just want the lowest rates and the lowest cost, and to close my loan with the least amount of pain as fast as you can. And by the way, there's a whole lot of lenders in America that can do that, and every lender in America promises to do that. But you know, there's a lot of great lenders with great lending platforms in today's market. But to your point, you know, being that leader, having sometimes there's some constructive tension, but knowing that at the end of the day, everybody wants their home, they want to own that home, they want it to be debt-free, bringing that into the conversation, being proactive about that, being really good at doing it, it's just, it makes the business a lot more fun. So I really hope everybody on this call, you know, hears Kevin's passion, hears the passion he has around that and the ideas and the ways that he's doing it. So coming into 2014, every Mortgage Coach member is just going to execute on this vision with a whole lot more consistency. Anyways, hey Jim, before we get into the homebuyer workshop, any thoughts or color you want to bring into the conversation yet?
No, I think one of the things that Kevin brought up was just that requirement that we made. And, you know, I think as leaders, I'm sure there's a bunch of leaders on the call right now that maybe heard that, and there might have been, if there wasn't any real cognizant pushback, there probably in the back of their mind there was something that went off. And I just got to tell you, from our standpoint, and I decided a while back, you know, you encourage people to try to, as you're leading them, you encourage them to try to do the right thing. And hey, buy Mortgage Coach, get into it, you know, start using it. And we just decided, you know, if it's something that as leaders that we feel could have a significant impact on their business, we're not going to encourage them to do it anymore. We're going to put it into place for them. We're going to purchase it. We're going to set it up. We're going to support it. And then we're just going to make it part of their job that they execute on it. And as we've done that, more particularly with the compliance stuff that's coming down the pipe, getting skilled at using Mortgage Coach and using it regularly like this is huge. And I tell you, another thing we've done through this requirement is it really gives you, as a salesperson, as a loan officer calling on realtors, for instance, or financial advisors or any potential referral partner, it makes you look so good. And it essentially gives you your entire presentation that has real value to them. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But so if you're a leader on the call, I would encourage you to give consideration to that whole thought process around requiring your folks to use it. And I think that probably came out of our relationship with you, Dave, working with us so closely. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. So I know where Kevin's going to go now. I want everybody to really connect. Hopefully you've caught that this is a person who's got some really deep beliefs, some great values, who is delivering a great borrower conversation. And now in today's market, it's important that it's a home buyer conversation. So I want you to make note how they're bringing leadership to realtors. So what are they doing to help realtors in different markets be more successful? And what are they doing to go one to many? So it's not just one home buyer conversation at a time. What if we could get a group of home buyers together with a realtor and talk about the real American dream, talk about doing things Churchill way, Dave Ramsey way. So why don't you walk us through and share what you're doing with your home buyer workshop?
Yeah, we're real excited about this. Candace came up with this over in Houston, and she's just amazing manager. And I really think that this is a great idea. I know Mike and Matt had talked about it, and it's not a new idea. I remember doing these in the 90s, but it's a lot easier for the loan officer and the realtor to do now. So our marketing department has pretty much got it where it's just point and click, and they put the pictures in for us and everything. So we team up with our realtors, and we've tried to find ways to add value to our realtors. Everyone says service and rate, but to actually add buyers to what they're doing. So we team up with them, and we do a home buyer workshop, and of course we are able to use the Dave Ramsey endorsement there, and we do all sorts of co-advertising and co-branding together to get buyers there, and work through all sorts of social media to get people there. And then it's basically an easy point and click from that point that, like I said, our marketing has already done for us. You can see here that we've got 77 events right now throughout the nation that are going on, and so we really can offer that. Now, when we hold one, we use the Mortgage Coach rent versus own analysis to show most of those people who are renting at that time how that rent affects them over the life of their 30-year, I guess, time frame, and how wealth is really built through owning a home versus renting. And we show them how that affects them. We offer this as a free gift to them, that we will personalize this for them, and they fill out an application right there at the homebuyer workshop. So we're averaging several applications every workshop, and it really gets realtors excited to see this. A lot of times they're not even aware of this until they're at the event, where this rent versus own analysis really it really does wake up a lot of people when they look at this.
So I want to make sure folks are taking some notes. So as you're doing your workshops in your market and your one-to-many events, part of the Churchill playbook is to make sure that everybody that attends that workshop is downloading the Mortgage Coach app and is driving them through this teaching and through this experience at the event. So that at the end of it, they've got your app on their mobile device. They've designed their own rent versus own if it's a first-time home buyer, and you've not just talked at them. Again, think of the concept of what we talked about earlier in the call. Don't just tell and explain, but demonstrate and inspire. And again, inspiring means they need to touch it themselves. They need to make it personal. So I just want to make sure everybody adds that to their playbook for your workshops, and a great strategy. By the way, Kevin, how many of these workshops are you guys doing? Just to give us a feel for how often you're doing this.
Well, we have 77 scheduled right now throughout the nation, so we're doing several.
And again, we do have leaders on this call, and obviously you're a leader and you're a producer, so that's the leader side of you. What about in terms of what are you recommending to individual loan officers, or what are you doing with your team? How often are you doing these?
Our model, as you would the baseball theme that gentleman was talking about, would be to do one seminar / workshop per week if they can, but a minimum of one a month. And so that's our model for success, is to do either a homebuyer workshop or a lunch and learn or some event once a week if they can, but a minimum of once a month to get success.
Well, that's ambitious and exciting. And anybody who's on the call, I would like to know how many of these are going on. So if you could, in the questions part, if you are doing workshops, homebuyer workshops and so on, please do a shout out. I want to look at that while Kevin is sharing and just see how many of you are doing that. Jacob, by the way, if you could add a survey question if you're on the call, you know, how are you doing homebuyer workshops? Yes or no? I'd like to push that in and find out just how many folks are doing that. So Jacob, if you could add that, I'd appreciate it. So continue, Kevin. This is great.
Okay. Here we go. And Dave, I may ask you to talk a little bit about this initiative, but Mike Hardwick, our owner, has graciously paid for red shirts for everyone, and there's a program called RED, which is Remember Everyone Deployed, and every Friday we're able to wear our red shirts, jeans, and he's also bought us combat boots. So we're walking around with combat boots and our red shirt, and we get to speak to, I even go to closings like this and say, hey, you know, forgive me for my attire, but I want to explain myself. And it actually shows about our passion for the people who are protecting our borders. And we're really passionate about veterans, and we're passionate about people who are out there serving for us right now. And do you want to talk a little bit about that? I know you've been involved in that too, Dave.
Well, we had that, just an amazing, you know, Heroes to Homeowner program at the Sales Mastery event. And Churchill, you were one of the investors that helped a military family get a home free and clear. So thank you for the donation that you guys made. That was awesome, and that was a great event at Sales Mastery. Also, I mean, you guys are doing a lot of other things. I know Mike rolled out your ESOP program. I mean, you guys are doing so many amazing things to create an amazing culture, and I want to make sure that for all the leaders that are on this call, you guys are just a great example of, hey, you've got values, you've got innovative things that you're doing, and you're executing them. So I want to, as we bring Jim in, talk about some ways that you can help execute as mortgage coach professionals. But what is the ESOP program that was recently rolled out?
You asking me? This is Kevin? Yeah, the Employee Stock Ownership Program. You know, I've been here about 2.5 years, since 2010, and as soon as I think that it can't get any better, Mike and Matt surprise us and come up with this program where now we, the employees, own 49% of the company, and we're issued stock. It's not a stock option, it's actual stock. So we're issued stock every year, and it's really, when I first heard about this, I was really speechless, and I still get a little broken up about it because it's just amazing to know that I now can not only make a difference in the lives of my customers, but to see that I have an ownership in that. And we're, you know, the whole team is just so excited about that. And from what I understand, we're the only mortgage company that we know of that has that.
Good, great things going on. So continue with some strategies and ideas.
Okay. One thing that I wanted to talk about was a little bit about my personal team, and I believe that part of leadership is leading by example. So I have a personal team that helps me produce, and one thing that, if you have a team or not, if you're listening, is to make sure that you do focus on your strengths, and if get to the point where you've got to do some of those items, some of those other tasks that are important, get them done. But when you get to the point where you do have a team, this will really help you out. I have a team of people, and we explain what everyone does when they get when every new client calls in, they get this email from us. And the tasks that I don't do any longer are things that are, if everyone has read the book by Brian Tracy, really good book, Eat That Frog. If you have to do those tasks, you don't have a team right now, of course the most important thing is to do that first in the morning. And as a producer, anyone that's that's doing probably less than 25 deals a month, prospecting is the big frog every morning that you should be doing before you even look at emails or look at voicemails, is by getting on the phone and booking appointments, booking lunch and learns, booking realtor meetings, and or referral source meetings. And so that's what we teach our guys, and that's what we do. Now, when you get to the point where you do have a team, you can delegate some of that out. We have a thing called red tasks and green tasks. I delegate out my red tasks. Those are things that are necessary to be done, like updating my clients, updating my borrowers, updating my realtors on the status of a loan that's in process, helping the processor with solving conditions. Those are red tasks that I delegate out to my team. And then I get to focus on the green tasks. So what do? Well, I'm able to get in front of people. At first it felt a little weird because really it took away all my excuses. I didn't have any reason anymore to sit there behind my desk and work on the red tasks, so I had to get out there and produce and bring in business. So getting in front of realtors and getting in front of people, doing lunch and learns. A big thing that we're doing right now is educating these realtors and builders about the regulatory changes that are coming up in January 2014. And that's been amazing to see that they don't really know this stuff, that they should, but they don't. So we're trying to educate them so they can educate our clients. Another thing that we do every time we're in front of a set of realtors is we always show this open house flyer through Mortgage Coach Edge, and we show them how they can provide this for all of their listings. And we can create this for every one of their listings. They can actually send it out through social media, through an email. They can send it to their client, and their client can send it out to all their friends. And this will show popular ways, of course, that they can finance the home. And Dave, I really especially like, I wanted to mention this to you, is when you can tag it to where every time it's opened, the realtor gets to see that it's been opened. So that's an awesome feature that we actually love, and our realtors love it because they get to see how many times people are opening that, and that's a pretty good buying signal when they're looking at financing.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody caught that feature. You can, it's a feature that was added a few months ago where you can put the realtor's information in the realtor, the partner reports, and just like you get alerts, they get alerts. So if you are not clear on what Kevin just proposed and you still don't get it or connect with it, come to the Thursday call at 9 o'clock and make sure that we cover some teaching and training around that. Good point, and glad to hear that you're using it.
Oh, yeah, well, I love that. As soon as I saw it, I thought that was just genius. That's great. The next thing we do here, which I think is just brilliant, is a DISC test. And if you don't know what that is, who are listening, it's a personality test. And so every one of our loan officers and management have this outside their door or on their cubicle, so we know how to relate and how to communicate. But what I wanted to talk about here was with our clients, that we feel and we have learned that through this DISC test that 65% population are a S or a C. And just to briefly go over the DISC, D is a driver type personality, I is an influencer, S is more of a stable personality, and then C is a cautious personality. So me being more of a driver influencer, I don't communicate as well with 65% of the population. So the TCA actually helps me to communicate better because the S is known to need a little more time to think about things, to digest things before they make a decision. And me being a driver, I want them to make a decision now. And so the TCA gives me a buffer and gives me an ability to be able to communicate more with those people who don't have the same personality as I do. Now, of course, as good salespeople, we should be able to be a chameleon and be able to be a little bit more understanding once we know the audience that we're talking to. But even if we don't do as good of a job, the TCA actually helps us, and we've seen this from our loan officers help us close more deals. And then, of course, the cautious person is going to want all the details. So all of my engineers and CPAs just get really excited when we send them the graphs and charts. I have a loan partner, Mary. Now, you can notice that her DISC profile is totally opposite of mine, which is a perfect compliment to me because she does relate well to the S's and C's, and she's much better at the details than I am. So once you get to the point where you do have a team, it's a great way to grow by having someone. But I highly suggest having a DISC profile done for anyone who are wanting to add a team member before you hire them, to make sure that they're not like you. They're pretty much opposite of you if you want to get some of those things off of your plate that you would rather not do.
Hey, by the way, I do want to do a call out. I hope it's okay that I share this, but I know when I've walked around your office, you have that. I mean, those are pictures from outside the work area. So whether it's someone in a private office or someone in a workstation, and I also saw this when I did a site review with Dave Ramsey's office. You know, everybody has a DISC test, and everybody knows what everybody's at. So first of all, I thought that was a fantastic idea, the way that you showcase that as an organization and as teams. So it's a great idea that I think hopefully folks will get as a takeaway. Do a DISC test and then make sure everybody in the organization knows what it is, and take it to the next level and post it in the work area.
I agree. It's brilliant. And this is my loan partner one, and we just hired him, and he's young and energetic, high I, and really good with helping me book more appointments as I'm growing my personal business. And so he's on the phone booking appointments with realtors and business people for me and doing an outstanding job right now. So one thing that we are passionate about are the baby steps. And some of you have seen this, but I wanted to go through this because this is what we're really about, and this is the talk that we talk to all of our clients about. And I'll just briefly put these up here. And we do them in steps of 1, 2, 3, and then 1,000 emergency fund payoff fall outside of your mortgage, a 3 to 6 month expense and savings. But step 4, 5, and 6 is meant to be done together. So you start investing 15% into pre-tax into retirement, saving up for college fund, and paying off your home early. This 6 is our passion, and we believe that Mortgage Coach Edge TCA actually helps us to illustrate that to customers. And it's not only our passion, but it's also in the baby steps that we talk about and that Dave Ramsey talks about as well. And then that helps us to be able to do what we really want to do. You know, we really want to be able to build wealth and give. And how wonderful is it to hear on Fridays when Dave Ramsey has the people that say they're debt-free, they'll scream out they're debt-free. And, that's just our passion to be able to help all of our clients to be able to call in on Friday to Dave and say, I'm debt-free. And I love what Dave says, and I'm not sure if he still says it, but he says now having a paid-off mortgage replaces what the BMW used to be. And I just love that saying because, I've had the BMW, and I'd rather be debt-free. So we actually follow that up. So once our customers close, we follow it up with a TCA that actually shows them, hey, thank you for closing with us, but we also say, if you just made an extra $50 on your mortgage, this is what it would do. It would take 2 years off your mortgage. Your freedom point would be actually 2 years less, 2 years faster. Or if you paid an extra $150 a month, your freedom point would be even faster, less than 25 years. You could save 5 years. So you could save almost $50,000 by just paying an extra $150 a month. And so we send this out to our clients after that. And the great news is since we do work with Dave, he actually sends out a video. It's a generic one, but it really does. It's going to make an impact. It's a brand new thing that we're doing just to continue to emphasize, even after the fact, after we're not making any money from this transaction any longer, we're just going to continue to emphasize that we want them to be debt-free. We want them to live that real American dream. And lastly, I found this, and I'm not sure who the author is, but I wanted to read it. No matter what happens, no matter how far you seem to be away from where you want to be, never stop believing that you will somehow make it. Have an unrelenting belief that things will work out, that the long road has a purpose, that things that you desire may not happen today, but they will happen. Persist and persevere. Your desired path remains possible. And so our passion here at Churchill, and you can hear it with everyone that's talking, is to help people get out of debt. And of course, we put people into a mortgage, but we try to be responsible with it and show them a path and show them, like you said, Dave, a visualization as to how to get there. That's all I got.
Well, again, lots of great strategies, great ideas. Do want to push the poll question right now. Are you doing a homebuyer workshop while I'm chatting here? I would like to get a feel so I know how much content I should bring into future coaching calls around this. Right now it looks like it's about 15% of you are doing this. So I guess the only other thing I would ask, and I'm not going to push another poll question, but if you want me to feature more strategies on doing one-to-many events and homebuyer workshops, put that in the question area. Like, Dave, yes, I want more content on that, and guest. So there was so many takeaways on today's call, and we're not done yet. We still have another speaker. It's more insights and ideas, but hopefully you took some notes. Hopefully you'll share some of those on Twitter. As we go into bring Jim McQuaig in, I just want everybody to ask yourselves, how does your homebuyer conversation inspire that a real American dream? Are you executing on that? How do you partner with realtors in a way that inspires helping homebuyers get out of debt faster? And I love that strategy that Kevin's using, where not only is he doing the total cost analysis on the front end, but after he closes a loan, he's delivering one. And I know you're not only doing that personally, but you're doing that as an organization. It's a great strategy. So in today's market, it's so important that we partner with realtors. I just want to remind you guys of some of the most important ways to do that with Mortgage Coach. CC your realtor with every homebuyer experience. Again, the Tim Lamb success story from a month ago is the best example I've seen, where it's just a great email delivering that homebuyer experience. He didn't have the realtor relationship, so he pushed it to the realtor, got a fantastic response from the realtor, scheduled a meeting, and literally went from no relationship to getting his first referral within a week, and by just including the realtor on the homebuyer experience. So just a quick checklist of the core strategies. CC the realtor. Always show and tell with the Edge app. So anytime you're out talking to realtors, you're in homebuyer events, make sure you're using your mobile device and you're sharing strategies around how you're helping people pay off mortgages faster, first-time homebuyers, move up, why buy now, and then make sure that you're sending an Edge video after every realtor meeting. So after you have that meeting, follow it up with a video on mobile mortgage strategy. If it's a listing agent, how you're going to help them sell a home faster. If it's a buyer's agent, focus on the type of buyer that they work with the most and how you deliver value. So I want to make sure those checklists get out, and then we get to the execution part of that. For everybody who's a manager, whether you lead an entire organization or you are a branch leader, Jim, if you could share how you're being a leader in your organization and using Edge videos to inspire your team to do, to take action, do the right things. So Jim, you are unmuted. If you could share what you're doing.
Yeah, great. Thanks, David. I wanted to just jump in real quickly on the homebuyer workshop thing. I know when the home office first started talking about that to me, I was really, I guess, negative would be the right word for it. To put it, I just really wasn't interested at all in that. And I got to tell you, that has turned out to be one of the biggest strategies we have. And here's why. There's so many, a lot of loan officers are out there hitting the streets and bugging realtors right now, and I think it's kind of irritating. I mean, they're not really bringing a lot of value. So we got a call, and this is where the light really came on for me. We got a call because of what Kevin showed you with all those workshops we have going around the country. Somehow there was this real estate agent in the Midwest, state of Ohio, that called us to say, hey, I noticed there aren't any in our area. How could we get some workshops in our area? Well, my office is just about to take over Ohio as one of the states we're going to be doing business in. So I connected with her. And I said, yeah, and at first I was, I still didn't get it. I was still like, oh, darn, we got to do one of these stupid workshops. And so we started going into it, and so I told her, come to find out, she had relocated to the area with her husband from Georgia. She now is working as a buyer's agent on one of the biggest teams in Ohio, one of the top agents in the state. She's on her team. And so I got a little more interested, and so I said, well, the way we generally promote these is, talk to your team leader and see if the other buyer agents, if they don't have some prospects or leads over the last year or two that they haven't done business with. Clearly, if you're a big team leader for real estate agent, your team has tons of buyer leads that haven't converted. And so I said, what you guys could do is market to those to try to fill the seats. So she comes back a day later and tells me that her team leader they looked at their database. They have 4,600 people they can market to, and the builder that they work with has another 5,000. So they've got this humongous database of potential buyers that they can market to, and I'm actually heading out there to do January 25th to do the workshop. Driving 7 hours to get there to do it as we kind of kick off our presence in that state. So there's tons of opportunity and doors that are open with these workshops. And I've got other stories too. It's really starting to be a great thing. So if you're not doing workshops, you ought to be doing them. That's the message. Okay, sorry, Dave. Got off track there.
That was a good off-track push, and I think you probably inspired a few folks to take action, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, hopefully. Now, this next thing, we talked about using Mortgage Coach and more specifically using the videos. The videos, particularly for us, we're kind of a call center-esque type business, but I'm even noticing the local business we do is far less person-to-person and more over the phone. And so the video gives you such a great opportunity to connect with people. And it really, I know you've talked about it a ton, Dave. It just makes such a great connection. It's the most common response you get is wow, W-O-W. It's just really incredible. So we're having folks do that, and then we're also what we found is we've started to engage with real estate agents. I guess I'm kind of wondering about your business, Dave, because it doesn't seem like any other LOs out there are using this tool. So are we the only ones that are customers? Or, it's kind of, I'm scratching my head. I go out there, every agent, this is the first time they've ever seen this. It's got me kind of wondering. So
well, you are not the only one, but I will tell you, out of over 150 enterprise clients that we have, you guys are leaders in the way that you execute. You've got great visions, great values, and you execute. That's why I've asked you guys to come in and share some of the magic on this call, because you are doing a great job of executing on a lot of this vision personally and as an organization. So thanks for being willing to share some of what makes it special.
Now, here's something that's very, I think, that kind of almost the key to this whole thing of using Mortgage Coach, and in particular the video, is you've got to be thinking about how you can leverage the creation of one video, and I don't mean make one video and send it to 1,000 people, because I think a real part of the magic is lost there, the personal part. But how many people that are connected to that transaction or that customer can you leverage that through? And this is a perfect example. I was on the call, the training call. You guys are doing those every day at noon Pacific for 10 days during the season right now, and it's been really good. I've been on most of those calls, And I learned something on one of the calls about this cost of waiting analysis, and I had seen this before, and I thought that's cool. You know, you just kind of show it to the person that's thinking about buying, just to try to say, hey, you know, you really need to get off the dime and buy. But then I thought, you know, how can I leverage that? And then that became, okay, well, I can send it to the real estate agent, and I can show them, hey, this is what I show your buyers, so that I can motivate them to act more quickly. And so one of the problems, and it's all about thinking, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and thinking about the problems they encounter every day in their job. One of the problems is these buyer's agents have a bunch of buyers that are just reluctant to act. And so here's a great opportunity to show them how you can assist with that a little bit. I mean, it's not, you know, it's just one more thing. What's a problem that we as loan officers have? Well, one that we have is we can't get our real estate agents to give us the buyers soon enough in the process. You know, how many times do you get these calls, you know, Saturday night at 9:30, just when the party's cranking up, and someone wants a pre-approval letter, and you're like, who? And you never even heard of them before. So this, another way I use this, sending it to the real estate agent saying, hey, here's what we're doing. We're trying to get them moving quicker. So if you want your people to move quicker, get them to us quicker, so that we can then start brainwashing them with this stuff. And so just as kind of a subliminal way to get them to us for the pre-approval quicker, so that the process can be more orderly. So that was just a way that I took the cost of waiting analysis and thought a couple of levels deeper into that, how I could use it to help my business and help the real estate, and ultimately help the buyer as well.
Well, I mean, guys, so many great ideas. I mean, again, I'm going to re-listen to this call myself and list all the great ideas, but hope everybody got another one there. So a little bit of a new twist on the why buy now. Jim is creating it for the realtor to reinforce what he's doing. So you have a meeting with a realtor, you identify through Q&A that that's a challenge and that they would appreciate it. Now he's following up to the meeting to let them know this is how we roll. And then he's also using this Edge video to inspire his team. So again, everybody, homework assignment, create a leadership video for your team, for anybody that you manage. And if you're a producing manager, create one for a realtor. And everybody on this call, you're originators. You know, during your next realtor conversation, identify what are the mortgage strategies that are most valuable to them. It's going to be pretty often that what comes up is why buy now analysis. Follow up that conversation with the why buy now video. And again, we're here to help you guys. I want to remind you to forward along the Ken Perry video that was in the Rob Christman report to your leadership team. Want to remind you every Thursday at 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to help you with the details, actually execute on this for the next 5 days through this week at noon Pacific, where we're going to do a very tight 15 to 20 minute teaching and training on a very specific strategy. And just a massive thank you to the entire Churchill organization. Some of what was shared today needed to have. Who was that? Someone jumped in? Okay, not sure what that was. I want to thank Mike Hardwick, the founder and CEO, Matt Clark, for allowing to share some of your secrets and your magic to the mortgage coach community. You know, things like sending out that review after the loans close. That's a big idea for you guys, and I want to thank you guys for sharing it. And Jim and Kevin, thank you for sharing all these great ideas today. I think it's been a fantastic call. Kevin, you were the big star today. Any final thoughts as we wrap up today's call?
You know, I'm just eating crumbs off of Jim's table, so maybe you just start.
Nice. Everybody let us know what you thought of today's call. And Jim, since Kevin is just eating crumbs off your table, we'll let you have the final words of today's call.
Okay, one more quick thing about paying the mortgage off quicker. Annual client reviews. If you've got someone, you got a bunch of people that got low rates, so you can't refi them, do a mortgage coach Edge report showing them making principal reductions on their current loan and what that looks like down the road. and create that vision for them. And that's real value. People love that stuff, that we're doing that right now with annual client reviews. So it's another use of the Edge and the Edge video.
Right on. Well, I want to remind everybody we've got this Team Harney webinar this Thursday. Sign up on Facebook. Also, an email's gone out to everybody, so don't miss that. And please, Todd Brilliant wants to make sure that you guys show and tell what you're doing in Facebook. So guys, great call. Hope everybody will take action, do your homework assignments, and be a leader, not a boss. In today's market, that's where the action is. That's where the success is. Thanks, Churchill, and we'll see everybody next Tuesday. And hopefully I'll see a lot of you on Thursday's call. Take care, everybody.
All right, thanks, Dave.